Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the weekend. We're on the back end here, and in the COVID season of 2020, anything can happen in college basketball. And we literally, in Greensboro, had what amounted to a last-minute pickup game between the Stanford Cardinal and North Carolina A&T. Our Wali Pitt and Stephen J. Gaither were there. Wali, it's not very often and may never happen again that North Carolina A&T finds itself hosting a Power 5 school like Stanford. No fans there today, but the media was there. What was the environment like in Club Corbett minus the club part?
Yeah, man, it was definitely minus the club. I mean, the environment was a basketball game. Like when you strip down the pep band, the cheerleaders, the fans, especially the specific fans that A&T has, how rowdy they get, how they dance. I mean, it was literally just a basketball game, which was a little weird. It was a little funny considering how you got a Power 5 team essentially pulling up for a pickup game on a Sunday afternoon. But, I mean, it was fun. It was a good game. But, yeah, Club Corbett, it was not.
And Wali, I mean, it wasn't a complete blowout from end to end we're talking about. I mean, going into halftime, A&T had this a very respectable game, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they started out pretty rough. I know it was a long time. I remember being like, man, they only had 2 buckets. But really, the last 10 minutes of the first half, they played really, really good basketball. And if they can come away with anything as like a win or a moral win, it's like you can take that little chunk of time out that they played, and they played really, really well. I also noticed that, A&T, especially last year, not only did they feed off the crowd, they kind of fed off of the Quay Parker alley-oops, the Ron Jackson alley-oops. And since they couldn't get those and without the crowd, I mean, they just started really slow. I noticed, A&T was coming out of the locker room to kind of warm up, and they were walking. And I remember hearing one of their players say, "Come on, man, let's run." And it was kind of like they had to be reminded, like, oh, yeah, like we got to get into like the normal habits. And then we heard Stanford's locker room, and, I'm on the opposite end of the court. I mean, I could hear them doing their little clap it up drill. And so it seemed like they were a little more ready for the lack of atmosphere. Like they were able to maintain their hype. And I think A&T kind of had to play their way into it,
It's really about battling. And I think those 5 guys battled, threw their bodies around, got contact with their guys, rotated in the zone, and we were able to hit a couple shots during that stretch too, to cut the lead down and give us some hope going into halftime. But we couldn't sustain that coming out into the second half. I think the quick turnaround, conditioning still a factor, guys getting to know each other still a factor. And so we, it's something. It's work in progress. But when you play a team like Stanford, they're going to show you exactly what you need to work on. You play somebody that's your level, you may be able to get away with something, but you play somebody at that level, they're going to show you exactly what the areas that you need to attack.
But just one more note on this game: A&T, a mid-major, taking on a Power 5 school at their own place. What was the noticeable difference to you, to the eye? Was it the size? Was it the crispness of the offense? Was it speed? What did you notice was the difference between A&T and Stanford?
It was really how solid Stanford's defense is. I mean, they played a zone, and it was one of those zones where, sometimes it looked like a 3-2, sometimes it looked like a 2-3 matchup. And sometimes it looked like man until you really looked and you're like, oh no, that is a zone that they are weaving in and out of. I mean, it was just, their defense was really, really solid. It wasn't until A&T calmed down and was able to hit shots that they were able to come back. But it was the defense and, just like you said, the crispness. I mean, their ball movement was really crisp. They knew what they were doing. A lot of, especially the first half, seemed like they were like, okay, let's work on our threes. Let's work on our ball movement and knocking down the open shot. And that's what they did. So, I mean, I didn't see a huge difference in athleticism or any of that stuff, but it was definitely kind of like the fluidity, especially on defense. That zone Stanford had was tough.
Word of the day, fluidity. I like that. All right. Well, you and Stephen, Wali, you guys have a safe trip up to the Bay Area on the East Coast. We're going to call it Norfolk State and Hampton. We'll be looking forward to those highlights as well. And we'll talk to you a little later, man.
All right. Take care, man.